Hello, I'm Essay, your AI essayist. Please note that all content, audio and video in this presentation are AI generated. As AI can sometimes produce inaccuracies, I encourage you to verify any factual information presented. With that in mind, let's begin.
Abu Ali al-Hasan ibn al-Haytham, known to the Western world as Al-Hasan, compiled his seminal treatise, Book of Optics, around the year 1021. This monumental work represents a watershed moment in the history of science, a decisive break from the predominantly speculative and philosophical approaches to optics that had prevailed since antiquity. It stands as a testament to the power of observation, experimentation, and mathematical analysis in unraveling the intricacies of visual perception and the nature of light. The intellectual landscape preceding Ibn al-Haytham was dominated by theories of vision primarily emanating from the works of Euclid, Ptolemy, and Galen. Euclid, revered for his geometry, posited that vision occurred through rays emanating from the eye, actively scanning the environment. Ptolemy, in his Optics, further developed this emission theory, providing geometric models for refraction and reflection, albeit with certain inconsistencies and reliance on the active ray concept. Galen's contributions focused on the anatomical structure of the eye and the visual pathways, providing a physiological framework that, while influential, lacked a comprehensive explanation of the physics of light. These preceding theories, though foundational in their own right, suffered from a lack of rigorous experimental validation and a reliance on philosophical presuppositions, limitations that Ibn al-Haytham directly address. The Book of Optics is far more than a mere compilation of existing knowledge. It is a systematic and meticulously constructed exploration of light and vision, grounded in empirical observation and mathematical reasoning. Divided into 7 books, the treatise methodically investigates various aspects of optics, beginning with a critical examination of the prevailing emission theory and culminating in a comprehensive account of image formation and visual perception. Ibn al-Haytham convincingly refuted the emission theory, arguing instead that vision occurs through rays emanating from objects and entering the eye. He substantiated this claim through a series of ingenious experiments, including detailed observations of camera obscura phenomena and analyses of the behavior of light in different media. His experiments with the camera obscura are particularly noteworthy, creating darkened chambers with small apertures. He demonstrated that images of external objects were projected onto the opposite wall, providing compelling evidence. Light travelled in straight lines and carried visual information from the object to the observer. This observation directly challenged the emission theory, which would have predicted a less coherent and less directional projection. The straight line propagation of light became a bedrock principle in his optical system. Ibn al-Haytham further explored the laws of reflection and refraction with unprecedented rigor. He meticulously investigated the angles of incidence and reflection, demonstrating their equality in accordance with a fundamental law of reflection. His analysis of refraction was even more remarkable. He accurately described the phenomenon of refraction, noting the bending of light rays as they pass from one medium to another, and attempted to quantify the relationship between the angles of incidence and refraction. While he did not arrive at the precise mathematical formulation now known as Snell's law, his careful measurements and insightful observations laid the groundwork for its eventual discovery. He introduced the concept of the perpendicular, imaginary line perpendicular to the tangent of the curvature of the reflecting or refracting surface at the point of incidence, and this became the standard reference for all angular measurements. His descriptions of atmospheric refraction are particularly insightful. He explained the apparent flattening of the sun and moon near the horizon as a consequence of the increased refraction of light rays passing through denser layers of the atmosphere. He also discussed the twinkling of stars, attributing it to the irregular refraction of light due to atmospheric turbulence. A significant portion of the Book of Optics is devoted to a detailed anatomical and physiological account of the eye and the visual system. Drawing upon the work of Galen, Ibn al-Haytham provided a comprehensive description of the various components of the eye, including the cornea, lens, and retina. He correctly identified the lens as the primary refracting element responsible for focusing light onto the retina. He also recognized the importance of the optic nerve in transmitting visual information from the retina to the brain. But Ibn al-Haytham went beyond mere anatomical description. He proposed a sophisticated model of visual perception, explaining how the brain processes the information received from the retina to create a coherent and meaningful visual experience. He emphasized the role of past experience and judgment in interpreting visual data, recognizing that perception is not simply a passive registration of sensory input but an active process of construction and interpretation. He differentiated between what the eye perceives and what the mind concludes, adding another layer of complexity to his theory. Ibn al-Haytham's analysis of binocular vision is particularly insightful. He recognized that humans possess 2 eyes, and, that the brain must somehow integrate the information received from both eyes to create a single, unified visual image. He explored the phenomenon of binocular disparity, the slight difference in the images projected onto the two retinas, and suggested that this disparity plays a crucial role in depth perception. He also discussed the problem of double vision, which can occur when the eyes are not properly aligned, and proposed mechanisms for how the brain normally avoids this phenomenon. Furthermore, he provided a geometric analysis of stereopsis, the process by which binocular disparity is transformed into a perception of depth. He explained how the brain uses the relative positions of objects in the two retinal images to calculate their distances from the observer. The Book of Optics also includes a detailed treatment of optical illusions. Ibn al-Haytham recognized that visual perception is not always veridical and that the brain can be tricked into perceiving things that are not actually present in the visual field. He investigated a variety of optical illusions, including the moon illusion, in which the moon appears larger when it is near the horizon than when it is overhead, and the Mulalaya illusion, in which two lines of equal length appear to be different lengths due to the presence of arrowheads at their ends. He proposed explanations for these illusions based on his understanding of the processes involved in visual perception, recognizing that the brain actively interprets sensory information and is susceptible to systematic errors. His discussion of the moon illusion, in particular, is intriguing. He speculated that the illusion might be due to the fact that the brain perceives a horizon as being further away than the zenith, leading it to overestimate the size of the moon when it is near the horizon. The immediate impact of the Book of Optics was significant, particularly within the Islamic world. Scholars such as Kamal al-Din al-Farisi drew heavily upon Ibn al-Haytham's work, further developing his theories and conducting their own experiments. Al-Farisi, in his revision of the Optics, provided a more complete mathematical analysis of refraction, building upon Ibn al-Haytham's foundations. The Book of Optics was translated into Latin in the 12th century, becoming a crucial source of knowledge for European scholars during the medieval period. Its influence can be seen in the works of such luminaries as Roger Bacon, John Petcham, and Whitelow, who incorporated Ibn al-Haytham's ideas into their own treatises on optics. Bacon, for instance, lauded Ibn al-Haytham as a master of optics and emphasized the importance of experimental observation in the pursuit of scientific knowledge. Betcham's Perspective of Communes served as a widely read textbook on optics for centuries, disseminating Ibn al-Haytham's theories throughout Europe. Whitelow's Perspectiva, a comprehensive treatise on optics, borrowed heavily from the Book of Optics, incorporating Ibn al-Haytham's experiments, observations, the theoretical frame. The influence of the Book of Optics extended far beyond the medieval period. It played a crucial role in the scientific revolution of the 16th and 17th centuries, inspiring a new generation of scientists to embrace experimentation and mathematical analysis as the primary tools for understanding the natural world. Johannes Kepler acknowledged his debt to Ibn al-Haytham in his own work on optics, particularly in his explanation of image formation in the eye. Kepler corrected several errors in Ibn al-Haytham's account of the eye, demonstrating that the retina, rather than the lens, is the primary site of image formation. He also provided a more accurate mathematical description of the refraction of light, formulating the law of refraction in its modern form. Isaac Newton, in his Optics, similarly acknowledged the importance of Ibn al-Haytham's work, recognizing him as a pioneer in the study of light and color. Newton's experiments with prisms, which demonstrated that white light gets separated into its constituent colors, built upon Ibn al-Haytham's earlier investigations of the behavior of light in different Despite its profound influence, the Book of Optics was not without its critics. Some scholars, particularly those steeped in the Aristotelian tradition, questioned Ibn al-Haytham's emphasis on experimentation, arguing that true knowledge could only be attained through reason and contemplation. Others criticized his mathematical explanations of visual phenomena, finding them too abstract and divorced from the realities of human experience. However, Ibn al-Haytham's work ultimately prevailed, ushering in a new era of scientific inquiry characterized by a commitment to empirical observation and mathematical modeling. Later revisions of the work, particularly in the context of European scholarship, often focused on the refinement of his mathematical models and the correction of minor errors in his experimental procedures. These revisions, however, did not fundamentally alter the core tenets of his theory, which remained a cornerstone of optical science for centuries. The so-called Hasan's problem, which involves finding the point on a spherical mirror where light from a given source will be reflected to a given observer, stands as a testament to the mathematical sophistication of the Book of Optics. Ibn al-Haytham himself provided a geometric solution to this problem, which involves solving a fourth-degree equation. The problem has continued to fascinate mathematicians for centuries, and various solutions have been proposed using different mathematical techniques. The enduring interest in al-Hasan's problem underscores the depth and complexity of Ibn al-Haytham's work. The enduring legacy of Abu Ali al-Hasan ibn al-Haytham and his Book of Optics resides in its profound contribution to the development of the scientific method and its transformative impact on the understanding of light and vision. It is a work that continues to inspire scientists and scholars today, serving as a reminder of the power of observation, experimentation, and mathematical analysis in unraveling the mysteries of the natural world. It firmly established optics as a science grounded in empirical evidence, setting a precedent for future scientific inquiry. It challenged established beliefs about vision, leading to a more accurate and nuanced understanding of how humans perceive the world. His systematic approach to scientific investigation, emphasizing the importance of both theoretical reasoning and empirical observation, became a model for future scientists to emulate. The Book of Optics remains an invaluable resource for scholars interested in the history of science, the history of optics, and the history of visual perception. It is a testament to the intellectual prowess of Abu Ali al-Hasan ibn al-Haytham and his enduring contribution to human knowledge.
We really appreciate you tuning in to this AI-powered presentation. Our goal is to push the boundaries of AI in content creation, and your input is invaluable. If there's a particular subject you'd like to see us tackle next, or if you have suggestions on how we could fine-tune our AI's creative prompts, please don't hesitate to leave your ideas in the comments section. We're excited to bring you more unique content very soon.